Good evening. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Tuesday, March 8th. A big update today on Wall Street. Of course, that sort of hurt some of our plays that we gapped. The oil and energy plays really kicked us in the nuts today. But given the huge gains we've had on those plays over the last week, a little slap on the face on some of these plays was to be expected. The reason for the market rally today, who knows what the real reason was. They said it was news that Saudi Arabia and OPEC are talking about increasing oil supplies. BS. It was just an excuse. You know, the Libya crisis continues to rage out of control. We had oil come a little bit off its highs. And, you know, this whole thing, we had some losses in our oil plays today. Sort of annoyed at myself given that I did call this action in the Sunday video. I told us that we would likely see a top late Monday, early Tuesday, and that is exactly what we saw happen. Still, it's a trade I would do till the cows come home every single time. We booked fat gains over the last few days. A lot of those gains were from swinging our oil plays. So, we had a little bit of a setback in them today. Doesn't mean the oil trade is over. Let them retrace. We can play them on the next move higher. That's just how it is. As for the Dow chart, looking at the 15-minute chart, you can see we are almost about to have another golden cross on the Dow 15-minute chart. But the problem is, just like the problem we had the last time, the golden cross is about to happen after a big 100 plus pop on the Dow. So, let's see if this actually happens or not. Looking at the daily chart, one thing to notice, Dow daily chart has been making higher lows over the last 2 weeks as we've been consolidating in this tight 200 plus point range. What we need to do is clearly break through that 12,300 area. We break through 12,300 and we will easily make new highs. We've got RSI on the Dow daily holding the 50 level. Stochastics, trying to break up through that 50 mark. But essentially, like I said, the roadmap we see on the Dow daily chart is almost identical to what we saw back at the November lows. And remember, the bottoming action we saw back in November essentially lasted for the entire month. And then starting in December, we started to roll. So right now, we're working on, week 3 of this consolidation pattern. What will probably light us up is, some sort of resolution to the crisis in Libya, be it that, Gaddafi kicks the crap out of the rebels or he backs down, or, the market just gets tired of talking about oil and that Mideast crisis and just decides to go on a move. So that's what we're looking for there. SMH chart, pretty weak over the last 2 days, but we continue to hold above our uptrend line and above the 50-day moving average. What we really want to see on the SMH tomorrow is the SMH to go green. So that is what we'll be looking for. A little bit of concern here is we're starting to see higher sell volume on the SMH each time we sell off and then bouncing on lower volume. So we really need to see a big green volume day on the SMH to feel anyway better. But anyway, let's jump into some stock plays. We've got some very, very nice setups here. NEI, it is time again for another one of NEI's big runs. We are about to get a golden cross on NEI. That is where the 50-day crosses up through the 200-day moving average. We are likely to see that tomorrow, Thursday at the latest. The reason we're looking for NEI to go on a move is check out stochastics. You see each of these levels here. Whenever stochastics gets under the 20 level, within 2 to 4 days, we see a huge pop in the stock price. And you can see we went from 140, 180, 142, 165, 146, 220. 175, 240. Here we are yet again. As you can see, stochastics under the 20 level, coiled and ready to go, right at the uptrend line. Would be looking to accumulate this one, $1.95 and under, and that next break through 2 should light it up. Now, one thing to note, we had some fat gains on a lot of our stocks until the last 15 minutes of the session, when all of a sudden we saw a lot of stocks just have the floor pulled out from under them. Now, usually when I see that happen, it tends to be actually a good thing, and usually is an indicative of an up move in those stocks in the following session. So even though we saw some pain going into the last 15 minutes of the day, typically whenever they shake the tree on these stocks, usually means they're getting ready for a nice little run in the near term. BNX, this is a stock we have been patiently sitting in, and the time is right. As I mentioned in the trading alert, we've got a nice chart breakout on this one, and this is the week, this time last year, where this stock began its tax run. We ran from 32 cents to 50 cents over the next week last year. And as I mentioned, this year, BNX owns FileLater.com, at which is a site where you can go and get a tax extension. They also do business tax extensions, and that deadline is next week, the 15th of March. 6 million tax extensions got filed last year, and BNX owns one of the leaders in that sector, charging $39 a pop. So do the math on that. Last year, this stock ran massively just on advertising revenue. This year, they're actually doing returns, and we've got a fat chart here. The close today, really bogus. It should have closed at 37 cents, but it trades on Scamex, and somehow they were able to close it at 35 cents. Again, typically when we see that happen, it's indicative of a pop the next day. We had a positive MACD cross today on BNX, stochastics triggering a buy, and I believe this is multi-year high volume on BNX. Love seeing the heavy volume on the break through the 200-day moving average. 40 cents is what'll light this little rocket ship up. And, this has the potential to be another MCZ for us, where we got, 300-400% move on it over the course of a few weeks. So this one is setting up very, very nicely for us. ZBB went zaboom today, hitting our first target up there, got as high as 148. Even though all the other energy plays sold off, this one was presenting at a conference, as I mentioned in the email alert yesterday, and boom, you got a fat little gain on this one. Next target, $1.60 if you're holding. You should have booked at least 2/3 to 3/4 gains on that pop today, and the rest is just gravy. CPST had a nice little pop today, nice little breakout, and again, like a lot of stocks, got painted into the close. Would look to see this one possibly consolidate before it makes a move on 2, which I think we're going to see happen really, really soon on this one. DEJ, this is one of the pain stocks, caused us a lot of pain today. We got greedy on this stock. We held a lot of our position, even though we got up in the 50s, and we're paying for it now. But, the stock did not run like the other stocks. Heavily manipulated oil play. And, when I see turds with no cash and huge debt like CFW still trading up here in the 75-cent area, and we've got DEJ down here in the 40s, I like this one, especially if we see another move in oil prices. The same is true for QBC. This one went after our stops today, then bounced nicely after they stole those plays. Essentially what it'll take to light this one up is another pop in oil, or the news that we're expecting that they hinted at in their conference call a week or so ago. So these are 2 oil plays I don't mind holding on to right now as we wait for a secondary move. We're going to give some of our gains up, but we've made bank over the last week playing these oil plays, so we can give them a little bit of rope, in my opinion, and see what happens. Because, what'll tend to happen, all of a sudden you'll get news that'll jack up oil prices overnight, and then you'll have a lot of these stocks gapping the next day. Just like they gapped down this morning, they can easily gap up the next day. So that's why we still have a little bit of exposure in these laggard oil plays. Another play on tax season, JTX, coiling up here for a nice little move. They report earnings on Thursday, so we have the potential for this one to go on a nice little run tomorrow into its earnings report. Breakout is that 131 level, the 20-day exponential. RSI is trending up towards the 50 level. Positive MACD. Stochastics trending nicely higher. This one just needs an excuse to run at this stage, and hopefully we'll see that tomorrow. LXRX. This is a stock we've been playing over the last couple of weeks, waiting for that break of 2. We jumped into it today when volume came in. We got a nice little bar, got a pop up there to the 205 area, and then we had a market maker come in, likely the short that's been holding it back, trying to save his ass. I think he's going to lose, and I think we're going to see this one go boom tomorrow. Stops on this one, if you jumped in, $1.90, and target is a move to 210 and then 220 plus. Indicators look really, really good here. You can see the compression in stochastics. ADX continues to build, and this one should be a nice little mover for us tomorrow on a green market. BIOD. Actually, a lot of biotech stocks started popping today, and that's a very good sign, especially for this time of the year. BIOD, nice big breakout today. Got an analyst upgrade, price target, blah, blah, blah. Nice chart. Pulled back late into the day. But this is a stock, whenever it has a big up day, always gaps and goes higher the next trading session. So we could and should see this one make another move to that 235, 240 level. And remember, the last time we jumped into this one, over the course of 3 days, it went from $1.90 to $2.97. So let's see if we can see that or get a repeat of that movie here and get another run up there to the 290 level. I'd take 250 plus and be very, very happy. Positive MACD cross on this one today on very heavy volume. And this is a stock, whenever it gets heavy volume, the volume usually gets heavy again for at least another day or so. So we definitely should see this one follow through tomorrow. We picked this one up in the chat room at 221, 222, and would possibly add to it on any dips. But this one should get a nice gap for us tomorrow. LVLT sort of annoyed us today. We jumped into it in the chat room on that break at $1.41, and then we added some more at $1.39, and then, like so many other stocks, got painted right at the close. They ended up closing at $1.35. Still like the chart setup here. I think we're going to see a snapback on this one tomorrow. So if you're looking to pick this one up, this one looks pretty attractive in after hours, in my opinion, with stops at the 20-day exponential, maybe 133, and see how it acts tomorrow. So going into tomorrow, I would say my favorite plays are NEI. This one is very, very close to another one of its classic big moves that we've done so very well with over the last year. BNX, locked and loaded. It's that time of the year. Volume, chart, sector. We got the right news, right reason, and, should do very, very well on this one. And then, of course, LXRX, I think we're gonna have a very nice day on this one tomorrow. So that is it for the video tonight. If you've got any questions, shoot me an email or just ask me in the chat room tomorrow, and I'll see you guys there. Good night.